So, uh, for kidneys, what it does, therefore, is it maintains the ion balance, like we had seen in that formation of urine, how sodium ions reabsorbed or potassium ions in the distal tubules are given out. Same way, the volume of the urine produced is regulated, which helps in maintaining the osmotic balance. As I was telling you the other day, if there would be more of water in the body, so it will be given out in the form of dilute urine, hypotonic urine. On the other hand, if like the summer days are there and the water content in the body is less due to excessive perspiration, sweating, that means, or if someone has done some vigorous physical activity, so again profuse sweating takes place, water intake is less, so this will result in this will then create a condition in which the body will demand conservation of water inside the body, so that this osmoregulation is possible. The fluidity of the blood, that osmotic pressure of the blood is maintained. So in that case, what will happen? More and more water will be reabsorbed by the nephrons, so that concentrated urine is passed. That would be hypertonic urine. So depending on the need, availability of water in the body, there would be osmotic balance maintained. Either the urine will be in large quantity, it can be hypotonic, or in less quantity, hypertonic. The same way, this kidney is also helping in maintaining the blood volume and this extracellular fluid volume, ECF, the fluid which is present outside the cells. Here, 1 minute. Yeah, ECF fluid. Then pH balance by retaining or excreting the H plus ions or HCO3 minus ions. So this way, in different ways, and excreting the nitrogenous waste, kidney is maintaining the osmotic pressure of the blood, the osmotic volume of the blood, and the pH. All these factors are maintained by the kidneys, thereby helping in giving a homeostatic condition to the cells. Remember, homeostatic steady state. And as for the osmoregulation, how is it controlled? One of the things that control is the antidiuretic hormone. That also I had talked the other day. Antidiuretic hormone, which is produced by the part of the brain called as hypothalamus, uh, secreted by the posterior pituitary gland. This also we have about glands. Also we have studied in 8 long back. The pituitary gland, master gland of the body. Why so? Because it controls the other glands. So this antidiuretic hormone, as the name suggests, diuretic means which would be resulting in the formation of more dilute urine, that would be in larger quantity. Diuretic. Anything diuretic means that would be substances that would increase the formation of urine. Such substances are called as diuretics. Like the other day I was telling about tea, coffee, alcohol, or if someone is consuming lot of liquid diet. So in these conditions, more urine will be formed, which would be dilute also. That means hypotonic also. So such substances are called as diuretic. And if we say anti-diuretic, anti means opposite. So here what it does, anti-diuretic hormones, it causes this one, you can see, this, it causes the wall of the distal tubules and the collecting ducts to become more permeable to water. Okay. So if concentration of the urine by water reabsorption is controlled by ADH, that means antidiuretic hormone. And if this hormone's secretion is reduced, less is produced. Obviously, this would result in the condition called as diuresis. That also I told you the other day, diuresis. Diuresis, that means increased production of urine will take place due to decreased secretion of ADH. Am I clear? Am I
Yes, ma'am.
audible and clear? Okay, because these are minor things where when doing the fill in the blanks, it becomes confusing whether to write diabetes insipidus here or to write diuresis. So remember, for because of this diuresis, this is one of the conditions due to decreased secretion of ADH, and this would be seen in case of the disease or in case of the disorder called as diabetes insipidus. We have two conditions for two diseases. One is called as diabetes mellitus, that is because of this is detected sugar diabetes, generally called. This diabetes mellitus is detected by the condition called as glycosuria. One word only. Okay. Glycosuria is the condition when excess of glucose is passed with urine due to diabetes mellitus. Remember, diabetes mellitus is a condition in which there is decreased secretion of insulin. So, excess glucose is not taken up by the cells to convert it into glycogen and store it. And so, excess glucose is passed out in the urine, and when tested for glucose, this urine will give positive test for glucose. Like they can go for Benedict solution or Felling's reagent to test the presence of glucose in the urine. So that would show this glycosuria, excess glucose in the urine, will show the condition diabetes, will show the disorder diabetes mellitus. And for this diabetes insipidus, the condition seen is diuresis. Diuresis means increased production of urine because this anti-diuretic hormone is not enough of it is not reaching the DCT and collecting ducts to make the cells of the DCT and collecting ducts to be permeable for. So water will not be reabsorbed. Enough water will not be reabsorbed, and most of it would be passed out as urine. So that condition is called as diuresis. Okay. Now coming back to this hormone control by osmoregulation, as I was talking. So because of this, how much of water should be there in the blood? How much of water so that proper osmotic pressure and pH and other conditions are taken care of. So you can see here more of the ADH secretion will increase reabsorption of water, and this will make a more concentrated urine or what we call as hypertonic urine. Am I clear for these conditions?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yeah. And two more things. One is with respect to the uric acid, which is less soluble in water. Another nitrogenous waste, which is less soluble in water. Now, because of this uric acid, what happens sometimes due to less, it may get crystallized in the joints. In this condition, uric acid deposition in the joints will be seen, especially for the people who take high protein diet. Less water they intake. Their water intake is less, and they regularly take high protein diet. So for such people, what happens? This uric acid gets crystallized and deposited in the joints, and this condition is called as gout. The other day I was watching on TV about this problem of gout, especially like it is mostly seen in the people who are living in the northern region. That means in the Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir region, where people are having rich protein diet. So there, one of the residents of that place was telling that many people in this region suffer from gout because they have a high protein diet, because of which this uric acid crystals get deposited in the joints, and this condition is called as gout. Okay. And also for those people also who take in lot of protein, but see, as one takes in high protein diet, one has to also take in lot of water, so that digestion of protein and excess of, and deamination and excess of these amino groups can be given out of the body, because body doesn't cannot store excess of proteins or amino acids, so they have to be excreted. So if enough water will not be there, obviously these things will get deposited in various parts of the body, and it would result in some nutritional disorder. Therefore, one should take in, if one is having rich protein diet, then one should also take in enough water, lot of water, so that this problem doesn't arise. Another thing is, or another problem that a person may face with respect to this nitrogenous waste, one is uric acid, and others can be salts of calcium oxalate. Calcium oxalate, the salt of calcium will get deposited in the kidneys, resulting in what we call as the kidney stones. I think this is a common feature we see, or most of us know about the stones, kidney stones. Are you aware of these kidney stones? Or this is the first time you're hearing about it?
No, miss, we
No,
know.
no.
I'm
Yeah.
first.
So in yes. So in kidneys, what happens? This due to a number of reasons. One of the reasons being less water intake and leading a sedentary life, taking in high protein diet. So in the kidney of that person, then calcium oxalate, salts of calcium, uric acid will get deposited, and around that nuclei, that small deposit, more and more deposition will take place, resulting in formation of what we call as kidney stones. Now, because of these deposits of the salts of calcium or this uric acid, etc., then the kidneys function is affected. They are not able to function properly, because that may also result in the damage to the nephrons also, or any part of the kidney also. Okay, so one should take in a balanced diet and sufficient quantity of water, which can be like the plain, simple, normal drinking water, or through the homemade fresh juice, or the fruits, or cucumber, the salad, or the food that we take in, which is in the liquid form. So, whatever we eat should be also supplied with water to the body. Okay.
Excuse me,
Any
ma'am.
doubt? Yes, yes, please ask.
Ma'am, Om and Avnish has paid the fees.
Okay, okay. So they were late in joining. No, I'll just make them join.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Since when they are here? They should be okay. Why so late? It's already 8:56. Anyone else? Sneha has moved out. Who's this Shreya Singh singer from Dhamtari?
Yes, miss.
Okay. I request them to join on time, then becomes difficult. Okay. Coming back to our topic, one more thing. With respect to artificial kidney, and before that hypotonic and hypertonic condition of the urine, when it will happen. So that would be the next part. Yeah, when the excess water is there in the body fluids, then the urine passed of the body will obviously be hypotonic than the body fluids, so that excess of water is expelled. And this will be, why this is to be done, because excess water in the body fluid will lower the osmotic pressure of the blood. and increase the blood volume. Are you getting this point? See, more of water obviously will increase the volume of the blood, and that in turn would change the composition, the presence of different ions, electrolytes, etc., salts in the blood. Their composition with respect to the increased volume of water in the blood will change the osmotic pressure of the blood. And this in turn will disturb the exchange of materials between the blood and the cells, thus affecting the cardiovascular functions of the body, and so resulting in dysfunctioning, improper functioning of the systems. That is why we say that when these problems arise for some people because of taking in a particular antibiotic or some other medicine or drug, it may have this kind of side effect where excess water may be there retained in the body fluids. So it has to be removed. So for this condition, then the urine passed is more dilute or hypotonic, so that there is maintenance of the right amount of the blood volume, thereby helping in maintenance of the osmotic pressure of the blood. Okay, so in case of winter season, we see this condition where because perspiration or sweating is less during the winter season, and it may be such where we take in more of the fluid diet, something hot or like that. So excess of water will be there, which is expelled out of the body. So that time the condition would be hypotonic and large quantity. So it involves more of ultrafiltration and decreased reabsorption. How is it done? Ultrafiltration, due to that hydrostatic pressure, more of the minute solutes with the plasma will filter out as the glomerular filtrate. And secondly, decreased reabsorption. So less of ADH will be secreted, because of which less absorption of water by the DCT and the collecting ducts will be there, which will result in dilute urine, more of water in the urine. Okay, and I was telling you about this hydrostatic pressure due to excess of water. So more of the nectar filtrate or the glomerular filtrate is passed out into the Bowman's capsule. Are these two processes clear?
Yes, miss.
Yeah. And shortage of water in the body due to sweating or heavy exercise or high temperature, excessive bleeding, or prolonged delay in fluid intake. Nowadays, as we forget to drink in water, we continuously keep on attending our classes. So what will happen? Rate of ultrafiltration is reduced due to decreased blood volume and low hydrostatic pressure of the blood in the glomerular capillaries. Okay, so what happens? Reabsorption of water is increased by increasing the permeability of wall of DCT and collecting tubules due to increased release of ADH. So that more and more water is reabsorbed by the cells of DCT and collecting tubules. DCT collecting tubule, distal collecting tubule, and the collecting ducts. This will obviously result in small amount of hypertonic urine, which will increase the body fluid volume to normal, because water will be reabsorbed, conserved in the body, it would be not passed out, so that would help in increasing the volume of water in the blood. So this will help in maintaining the proper osmotic pressure of the blood and the volume of the blood to normal. And one more thing, in case of cholera, this can be asked. In case of this disease cholera, patients are suffering from and watery bowels. Bowels means loose motions passing out of the unwanted in the undigested food. So because of these loose motions or watery bowels and vomiting, the intestines are unable to absorb water into the blood. So in the blood, what will happen then? Less volume is there. So kidney cells. That means the nephrons are getting the message that more water has to be absorbed because less water is there in the blood. So this will also result in hypertonic condition of the urine, and ultimately this may also happen that a person will not be able to pass the urine only, because more and more water will be reabsorbed, and this will also result in accumulation of urea, because almost no urine is passed, no urination will take place in the patients who are suffering from cholera if not treated. So ultimately, patient may die due to poisoning by this accumulation of high quantities of urea in the body. Okay, and this high condition of accumulation of urea in the body is called as uremia. So the immediate treatment, the first treatment given is therefore ORS. We know, oral rehydration solution through mouth. So some of the new terms I have introduced to you people, and this can be asked in cholera one also, they can ask you. Don't forget that. And where no urination is there, so you can give the example of cholera. Yeah. So as the time is over, I would like to wind up for the day so that you can continue with your other classes. So have a good day. Stay safe. Take care. Drink plenty of water.
Thank you, miss.
Okay.
Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay.